So now let's get into audiences. What are TikTok audiences? How you can create these audiences and how you can use these audiences. So once you go into library, you can select on audience. Here you'll be able to see all the audiences that you have created. So you click on create audience. Now there are two options, custom audience and lookalike audience. Custom audiences, you define what your audience is going to be like. So we'll come to lookalike audience later on. Let's start with custom audience. You click on custom audience. There are four options here. Customer file, where you can upload your customer file and they will match that file with their users on TikTok. So if they find somebody with the same details that you uploaded on TikTok, they'll be able to identify them. Second is engagement. Engagement is where people have engaged with your content. So for example, the ad that you have shown, it will see how many people, like you'll be able to define the people that saw your ad or the people who clicked on your ad. So let's go to engagement. Here is where you select include or impression. Impression is seen your ad, click is clicked your ad. So let's say I select click in the last, let's say 180 days, and which ad group. Now how do you find your ad group? You go here on your ad groups. This is my ad group, this is my ad group ID. So I can copy this here and I can paste it here. So this ad is not live, so it is not letting me select it, but once it's live and it already has audiences that are interacting with it, I'll be able to select it. So once you select the ad group, you can select your audience name here and confirm. This is how you create an engagement audience. App activity is when people have downloaded your app or done any specific actions on your app, like they made a purchase on your app or they bought an add-on on your app, so which will come over here. Then there is website traffic. These are your events, page browse, button click, consultation, download button, complete payment. So complete payment, this means purchased in the last, let's say 180 days. This includes this audience. You can even exclude certain audiences. So this is what it is. Like for example, I can see add to cart in the last 180 days and exclusion I can do purchases. So complete payment in the last 180 days. Now what does this mean? These are the people who have added a product to their cart but not made a purchase. So I can give here A to cart but no purchase L 180 days, last 180 days. So I can save it accordingly. This will help me to identify my audience and I can show them these ads. I can show my ads again to them or can show some different set of ads. Let's say they added a specific product to cart. I can show the same and different ad of the same product, or I can show an ad of a different product to them, because somewhere they were interested, there has been some level of interest to them, that's why they added to cart. Nobody adds for time pass. I mean, there are some people who added just for it because I mean there's some intent towards the purchase. So maybe they did not like the price, maybe they were not happy with the shipping times, maybe they were not, maybe if you are adding a shipping charges or GST later on, they were not happy with it. So there is something that has stopped them from making a purchase. So we can show them different ads, different things, give them a more, give them an additional discount, and probably we can expect them to make a purchase. I'm going to cancel this. Now this was your custom audience. Now there is something called as lookalike audience. Now what is a lookalike audience? In lookalike audience, it defines that you tell them a particular audience and you tell them that you find people who look like my audience. Okay, so in source, let's say I select purchase 30 day, So I'm telling them you use my audience who have bought in the last 30 days. Now you find people who look alike them. Now contain source is delete or contain, which means that do you want to include those audience that bought in the last 30 days, or you don't want to include. So if I'm saying that these are 100 people that have bought in the last 30 days, you find me 1000 people who look like them. Now do you want to include these 100 people in these 1000 people? Then you select contain. Or do you want to remove these 100 people in these 1000 people? You say delete. Ideally I would say delete, because I want to find these 100 people are already made a purchase. So I do not want them to be in my lookalike audience. I want them to be outside my lookalike audience. So I want to know the other 900 people who look like these 100 people, but they have no idea about my brand or made a purchase. Then this is a system, Android or iOS placement. I select TikTok. Mostly select TikTok because that's where your placements are going to be. Location, let's say India. Now audience size is specific. Do you want a specific, balance or broad? So specific is they will be like hmm, so they will be more specific to your audience, and broad is they'll be like the category will be broad. So for example, when I select specific, the size could be, let's say, 1 million. So these are 1 million audiences who are very similar to, like,